So we start off with this kid. His name's Anakin. He's got a future ahead of him. His life changes forever when these dudes and that dudette show up. The old guy's Qui-Gon Jinn. He's a Jedi Master, a magic space knight with a laser sword who fights for justice called a Jedi, and is also kind of a nice guy all around. The girl you see there is a 14-year-old named Padme. She's also apparently the elected queen of a planet made up entirely of either Italian Renaissance architecture or amphibious comic relief. Little Anakin may or may not have a slight crush on her.
Are you an angel? What?
The younger dude is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Think of him as Anakin's adoptive big brother. They're on the run from this guy, Darth Sidious. Now, he isn't going after them himself. Instead, he has people who do that for him. On the one hand, evil robots, and on the other hand, this dude. You see, these guys are Sith. They're basically evil Jedi. And unfortunately for our heroes, Qui-Gon ends up biting the dust. While our buddy Obi-Wan starts practicing puzzle making. Incidentally, in order to get here, our heroes had to help the planet's local senator, this dude named Palpatine, become basically space president. That's kind of a familiar-looking chin, isn't it? Now, since Qui-Gon's dead, this guy's going to become Anakin's new father figure. Uh-oh. So we go forward about 10 years. Obi-Wan grows a beard, Anakin has hormones, it's all kind of a thing. And this means that when Padme needs some help, because some people have a slightly violent opposition to being part of the galactic government.
I guess I was wrong. There was no danger at all.
So Anakin and Obi-Wan are going to be her bodyguards. Obi-Wan's going to take a somewhat more proactive role in trying to track down exactly who's trying to kill her, which ends up with him finding out there's an entire army of clones getting ready for a war against the evil army of robots from the last movie, who no one can account for why they're there. Anakin, meanwhile, is bodyguarding Padme, his childhood crush, and stuff like this happens.
When I got to them, we went into aggressive negotiations. Thank you.
Aggressive negotiations, what's that?
Well, negotiations with a lightsaber.
Jedi are forbidden from marrying or falling in love, so maybe it wasn't a good idea to team up the teenage boy with the 20-year-old former space queen. Just saying. So while Obi-Wan is uncovering a plot to start a giant war to upend the galactic order, our other characters are, kind of canoodling. And then it turns out that Anakin finds out that his mom may be in trouble, so he goes back home, and this happens.
Stay with me, Mom. Everything.
I love.
I killed them. I killed them all. And not just the men, but the women. And the children, too. They're like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them.
Is it just me? Or did it just get a little mass murdery in here? Anyways, Obi-Wan's been captured by the bad guys who are being led by this dude, Count Dooku, who, you'll never guess from his dark outfit and red lightsaber, is probably a Sith Lord. Anakin and Padme decide to go rescue Obi-Wan, even though they're not supposed to, get captured, put into a gladiator pit, it's a whole thing. Then some Jedi show up, but then it's a trap, some robots show up, kill the Jedi, and the Jedi have to be rescued by clones, and before you know it...
The shroud of the dark side has fallen. Begun. The Clone War has.
Anakin and Obi-Wan confront Count Dooku, but doesn't exactly go well. No! They have to be rescued by Jedi Master Yoda, and it leads to a whole thing where Anakin has to replace his arm with a robotic one, which we'll put in a black glove and lace very tightly in an intimidating fashion. Oh, and he and Padme get hitched, even though that's forbidden by the Jedi, and they can't tell anybody. Huh. I hope this doesn't cause any problems. So 3 years later, Anakin and Obi-Wan have fought the Clone Wars. They're veterans, they're awesome leaders, they're good buddies, and they get a chance for a rematch with Dooku when he captures Mr. Space President Palpatine. And it goes pretty well, actually. When Obi-Wan goes down, Anakin wins. But then this happens.
Good, Anakin, good. Kill him. Kill him now.
I shouldn't.
Do it. You did well, Anakin.
Yeah, it turns out the space president, who looks like a grandfather, is kind of like the exact opposite of a role model. Instead of him trying to inspire you to the right thing, he wants you to do the most evil thing you can in the current situation. Yes. And the Jedi Council are catching on. So they try and order Anakin to spy on Palpatine, while simultaneously Palpatine is kind of having him spy on them, which is great for Anakin, because it's not like he's got to deal with any pressures right now. Oh wait, Padme's pregnant, so their marriage is going to be discovered sooner or later, and he's having dreams about her dying a painful death, just like the dreams he had before his mom died, and he went on that rampage. Yeah, boy. And oh, wouldn't you know it, Mr. Evil President Palpatine has a story he'd like to tell Anakin about how the Sith can solve his problems.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? He had such a knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying.
He could actually save people from death.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
And gosh darn it, would you believe that that is the thing that tips Anakin's hand when the Jedi come to arrest Palpatine, who's a Sith Lord, you know, Sidious, which means that, this happens.
Anakin, I told you it would come to this. I was right. The Jedi are taking over.
The oppression of the Sith will never return. You have lost.
No. 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 You must die! I have the power to save the one you love. You must
Don't listen to him, Anakin! Don't let him kill me!
He must live.
Please don't.
I need him.
Please don't. No!
I pledge myself to your teachings.
Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth Vader.
Thank you, my master.
And so Darth Vader betrays the Jedi, kills a bunch of kids, slaughters a bunch of his allies. Palpatine declares it a new empire. But there's somebody they forgot. Our amateur dismemberment enthusiast, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He and Anakin fight, and doesn't go so well for Anakin.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
You underestimate my power.
Don't try it!
Now, you may be wondering how exactly Obi-Wan and Anakin actually had time to find each other and kill each other. Well, Padme kind of played a part in that. She went after Anakin, Obi-Wan snuck aboard her ship, Anakin saw Obi-Wan, and then Anakin did this.
I love you.
Liar!
No,
You're with him. You brought him here to kill me.
no.
Let her go, Anakin! Let her go!
Yeah, being choked isn't very conducive to, giving birth, but she manages to. And then she dies after naming her kids Luke and Leia. Meanwhile, our boy Anakin/Vader is scraped off the hot lava and rebuilt into the guy we all know and love as Darth Vader, who can now do stuff like this. However, Luke and Leia are safely hidden from Darth Vader, with Leia being a princess on a planet called Alderaan, and Luke being raised by his own step-uncle, Owen. And the adventure will continue.